Good morning, Prairie people, friends, and guests. It's a wonderful morning. Please stand as you are willing and able to sing. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Y'all know these words, it's very simple. And if you can't sing, this is a good clapping song. Let us join the choir in singing the song right now.
Woke up this morning with my mind, and it
was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You gotta walk, 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 with your mind on freedom. Walk, 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 with your mind on freedom. Whoa, walk, 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 walk.
You got to
Talk, 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 with your mind on freedom. Talk, 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 talk. Talk, 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 with your mind on freedom. Whoa, talk, 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 talk. Ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. Ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. Ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Gotta walk, 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 with your mind on freedom. Walk, 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 with your mind on freedom. Whoa, walk, 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 walk. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Good morning, all. We will start with a little relax and centering time this morning. Okay, littles, Ralph Waldo and his buddy Teddy want you to take a moment to settle in. If you haven't brought your breathing buddy with you, it's time to do that now. Once you get your breathing buddy, find a comfy place to settle in. Don't forget, we can all be young at heart, and everyone is welcome to bring their breathing buddy. Okay, littles, and everyone else, I invite you to settle in to your space. Let us take a moment to do that as a community. we will start with just a moment of breathing. I invite you to face a source of inspiration. Roll your shoulders back and open your chest. Roll your shoulders again. Take your neck from left to right. Take a deep breath in and out. Do that 5 times. Now, if you have a breathing buddy, you can rest your breathing buddy on your chest as we prepare to light our chalice. Our beloved community is not built on a creed, but on a covenant to live together in relationship. And our chalice is a symbol that we are connected with our larger Unitarian Universalist community. During this month, we are focusing on renewal, and today we will be focusing on the water communion. I invite you to take a few minutes of meditation to reflect and visualize connecting waters like rivers and oceans and lakes. In many traditions, it is believed that if you speak out loud your wish of goodwill, that it gives it power. Therefore, I offer up to this community that all people, animals, and planets have all the clean water that they need. I invite you now to speak peace and love into the world by speaking of those you hold in our hearts as we send positive energy into the world. Please enter in the comments or speak the name out loud of anyone to whom you wish to send goodwill at this time. We speak of those which we carry in the heart of this community as a sign that we care for the interdependent world around us. I bind not only all that has been named and been made known to us, but also those who remain unnamed but held in the heart of our community as we light our chalice flame. We light this flame as a symbol of our covenant to each other and the world around us as we recite our sacred promise.
We covenant to be a welcoming and loving community, offering each other fellowship, sanctuary, and a joyful spirit. We seek justice and peace in all our deeds and relationships, and we respect and honor both the individual and the collective search for sacred meaning and truth. We revere and celebrate the diversity of our earth and are guided by the spirit that connects all life as we reach out to offer our best to ourselves, our community, and our world.
May the goodwill that we have just offered up to be held in our hearts be a sign that we have come to a place to connect in a way that shares the words from our mouths, music in our hearts, and our very silent self as we share these next few moments of silence.
Good morning, Prairie. I'm Allison. This is
Nevaeh, hi.
and then we also have
Hello.
Stella. And we are here to talk a little bit
About the sea.
about the sea. That's right. So
Sea turtles, fish, and dolphins.
those are all things that live in the water. That's right. That's
so
right.
We're gonna...
And Stella has an example of a fish that she made, actually. You want to show it, Stella? Bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, it's swimming across the screen. Good job. That is Stella's our rainbow fish. And there are lots of beautiful fish in the ocean. And we are going to watch a story today about a beautiful fish. And this fish learns to find friendship and happiness when he learns to share. Is sharing important?
Yes, I guess.
Yeah. Do you guys do a good job of sharing with each other?
Yeah.
Most of the time you do. So by learning to share, this fish is renewed and finds that happiness is something that you can have when you give to other people. So let's take a look, okay? All right.
Hello, and welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the Screen Actors Guild Foundation. My name is Ernest Borgnine, and we're going to be reading a book today called The Rainbow Fish by Marcus Pfister. All right, here we go. A long way out in the deep blue sea, there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. Oh, beautiful. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. Come on, Rainbow Fish, they would call. Come on and play with us. But the Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. One day, a little blue fish followed after him. Rainbow Fish, he called, wait for me. Please, give me one of your shiny scales. They're so wonderful and you have so many. You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are? Cried the Rainbow Fish. Get away from me. Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset, he told all his friends of what had happened. And from then on, no one would have anything to do with the Rainbow Fish. They turned away when he swam by. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anybody like me? I can't answer that for you, said the starfish. But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you. The rainbow fish found the cave. It was very dark inside, and he couldn't see anything. And then suddenly, two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. I have been waiting for you, said the octopus with a deep voice. The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy. I can't, the rainbow fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. Give away my scales, my beautiful shining scales? Never. How could I ever be happy without them? Suddenly, he felt the light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. Rainbow fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale. The rainbow fish wavered. Only one very, very small, shimmery scale, he thought. Well, maybe I would miss just one. Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, the little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over the rainbow fish. For a long time, he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing, so it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish. Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possessions had been given away, yet he was very happy. Come on, rainbow fish, they called. Come and play with us. Here I come, said the rainbow fish, and happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. Isn't that wonderful? That's called The Rainbow Fish by Marcus Pfister. Okay?
Our reading today is by Tim McCarthy, titled Our Connection to the Waters. I would say that it is in us deeply to gravitate always to the element of water. There is no element that has quite the same capacity to delight and to terrify. The great waters are always associated with our dreaming. We gaze to the horizon and over the oceans, and in our imagination, everything becomes possible. It amazes me that when I look out onto outer space and we dream of new lands and new planets, the first question that we always ask of this new place is there water? Water is in our myths and in our legends. From the north of Britain, the Celtic lands, the Selkies were a mythical water being. the mermaids, the kraken of Scandinavia, all of these call to us and have that same deep mystery of water. Water, I think, is one of the four great powers of our world and seems so connected with our emotions, with our deep longing. We talk about the waters of life. Water sits at the very fountainhead, the wellhead of our spiritual knowing. When we gather and sing around water, we are calling and singing to life. We are singing to ourselves, and we are singing to every other part of life. And in that, there is a great upwelling of joy.
Good morning again, Prairie UU. It's now time to welcome all of our first-time guests and visitors. We hope you feel welcomed and a sense of inclusion today as we engage in our online service format. We want to acknowledge those who are joining us for the very first time, whether you are from Parker, Colorado, India, Africa, or anywhere else you are in the world. We thank you for being here with us today. Please let us know you're here by clicking on the welcome link in the chat or going to www.prairieuu.org/welcome and signing our guest registry so that we can keep connected with you in the weeks and months to come. You're welcome here. When we meet in person at this time, the service, we would ask you to turn to your neighbor and wish them a warm welcome. Today, since we are not in person, I offer you a virtual hug that comes with all the love and celebration of our Prairie UU community.
Let it shine. Wait.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Good morning. I'm Janet Stevens, chair of the Lifespan Adult Education Group and Prairie's Nominating Committee. Today is our water communion service, but as we are virtual, we're not able to mingle our sacred water from many different places into a large bowl, which is our tradition each fall. As an active Unitarian Universalist since 1987, I have participated in many inspiring water communion services. However, it was just in preparation of this sermon that I learned the important origins of this UU ritual. I will be sharing some of this history with you today, and I think you will see that there are many parallels with what is currently happening with our national organization, UU churches, and racism. This history is available on the UUA website. The first Unitarian water ritual was an important part of the feminist movement inside of Unitarian Universalism, and it is closely related to the development of the current Unitarian Universalist Association's principles and purposes. In 1975, Lucille Shuck Longview, a devoted member of the UU parish in Lexington, Mass., served as a UU delegate to the United Nations Women of the Year Assembly in Mexico City. She returned from that assembly convinced that religion, even her beloved Unitarian Universalism, was a chief culprit in the perpetuation of oppressive sexism. She gathered support in Lexington and authored what became the Women and Religion Resolution, passed by the 1977 UU General Assembly. The resolution called for an extensive examination of the sexism inherent in religious literature and institutions, beginning with the UUA itself. UUA President Paul Carnes put together a committee to work on the resolutions, and districts were encouraged to support related women and religion groups. These groups quickly noted the necessity of rewriting the original 1961 UUA's purposes and principles, which used male gendered language to express the concerns and dignity of mankind, and which failed to address the care of Mother Earth as a religious priority. In 1985, the principles and purposes as we know them today were passed by the General Assembly, complete with the inclusion of respect of the interdependent web of existence as a new principle. The path from Longview's 1975 experience with the United Nations to the General Assembly in 1985 was long and difficult. In between these two benchmarks dates, there were countless meetings, conversations, and worship services that served as a profound spiritual explorations of the sought-after transformations. The first water ritual was part of one such worship service, which was designed for the UU Women in Religion Continental Convocation held in East Lansing, Michigan in 1980. The worship was constructed by Lucille Shuck Longview and Carolyn McDade. You may recognize the name of Carolyn McDade as the author of the song Spirit of Life. This is what they said later about the significance of that particular service. The water ceremony became an essential part of religious service that broke with tradition in significant ways. It was created by lay women, women who had long been silent in the pews. The ritual space was also made sacred by the women themselves. We gather to worship in a way authentic and liberating to us. not as a church, but in a semicircle around the large common earthen bowl. It was a ritual of women's being connected by a universal symbol, water. A ritual of women being connected to the totality of life. Here is the exposition of the theme from inside of the worship itself. Making our way like rivers from places distant and near, we came together to give shape to a new spirituality. For there is no theology that calls women to strength rather than to support the strength of others, that calls women to action rather than to passivity, that calls women to full expression rather than to meek acceptance. Recognizing that, we see we must question every box, every definition, every assignment from an authority outside our own beings, so that we can create and recreate for ourselves the rituals and symbols that give meaning to us. So we come together to question, to hear, to share, to speak, to inspire, and to celebrate through new rituals, knowing that our energy and our love are transforming. Celebrating now our connectedness, we choose water as our symbol of empowerment. As rivers in cycle release their waters and regain new beginnings, so we cycle. For us, as women, these beginnings are powerful, but not easy. But still, we come to create and celebrate and to live by the only spirituality worthy of our devotion, a spirituality that it lifts, empowers, and connects. Just like in contemporary water celebrations, different participants had been asked to bring to the service water that held special meaning for them. Those waters were then commingled as the women shared what they symbolized. Unlike many contemporary celebrations, however, the original ritual noted that it was important for the participants to have the opportunity to take some of that water home with them. Indeed, they invited the women present to empty out any bottle of cosmetics or perfume that they might have brought with them and use it to convey some of the water home, thus abandoning a product that exploited perceived feminine inadequacies to make room for that which might remind them of their shared power. Today, the water communion service has become a universal part of Unitarian Universalist. Water, with all its importance and qualities, has become an important symbol to Unitarians. I personally don't feel that I have had a direct sexist experience in Unitarian churches, although I do recall a member telling me that a male minister was rather dismissive of the need to advocate for women's rights. I also recall at another church an assistant female minister feeling like she was not being given appropriate opportunities by a male senior minister. There have also been issues of sexual harassment within UUU congregations. While there is still work to be done for women's rights and equality, a lot has changed for women since 1975, both in UU churches and in society. We have the women who led the change and their allies to thank for this. Today, as a society and as a UU association and local congregations, we are looking at our institutional racism. While UU churches have always felt welcoming to me, I have come to understand that they do not always feel welcoming to people who are Black, Indigenous, or people of color. This may be in how members respond to people, music that is offered, or in the theology itself. Here are some of the parallels that I see between the women's movement and the Widening the Circle movement within the UUA and our local churches. As the New Orleans General Assembly in 2017, the UUA Board of Trustees announced and chartered the Commission on Institutional Change. The charge given was to conduct an audit of the power structures and analyze systemic racism and white supremacy culture within the Unitarian Universalist Association. The Commission recently came out with a report called Widening the Circle. While the report focused on changes at the UUA, it also asked that local UU churches look at the report to identify areas where they need to change. Prairie's Justice League has spearheaded review and discussion of Widening the Circle recommendations. We have identified hospitality and inclusion, restoration and reparation, and living our values in the world as focus areas to make changes. For institutional changes to be made, it is important that key leadership be engaged and supportive of these steps. At Prairie, the board and the Committee on Shared Ministry have been engaged and supportive. The UUA has identity groups for Blacks, people of color, transgender religious professionals, and others. Prairie has a people of color group and a queer group. These groups provide opportunities for discussion of shared experiences in a safe space and may identify steps needed to move things forward. Prairie, along with other Front Range UU congregations, have organized a series of presentations and discussion where all are invited, but the dominant culture of whites, except for families and partners of people of color, are only listeners to hear what people, Black, Indigenous people, of color folks have to say. Changes have come within Unitarian Universalist and will continue to come. We are committed to our principles, particularly the sixth principle of the goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. At the end of this service, there will be a brief time to share what water symbolizes to you, or, if you wish, a short reflection on this service. In ending this sermon, I have a quote from Mother Teresa. "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples."
river flows through our hearts, finding peace wherever it may go. As we grow, a river flows through our hearts, finding peace wherever it may go. Let pure blue waters through. Don't let the wind take them away from you. Like the littlest star shines in the darkest night, like a mother's ache brings in a new life. Stay gold and be still. Pray that we all can stay gold and be still.
Every day, we offer ourselves as a liberal religious light on the prairie of the Southeast Denver metro area. We open our spiritual home and our hearts to all people who thirst for authenticity and a connection with the mystery of life. During this time that so many people are affected by this health crisis, we are taking on a new way of being in community and covenant. As you know, being part of a community is by sharing our resources, our time, talent, and treasure. Prairie UU is not an institution. It's a community of people who come together in love and support of each other. We need to be taken care of in a variety of ways. One of the teams that does this is our caring committee. It's comprised of members who are dedicated to helping other members in times of need with meal trains, sending cards, help with transportation, etc. If you need or can offer assistance in any of these areas, contact Pastor AJ or a member of the Caring Circle at caring@prairieuu.org. These teams work hard to be available to each of you for questions, comments, and kudos. We also would like to remind you about our community fund. The fund is managed by our Committee on Shared Ministry and Pastor AJ to help members of our community who may be in financial crisis. If you are in need of immediate assistance with items like making a utility payment, car repair, medical copay, etc., please let Pastor AJ or a member of the Committee on Shared Ministry know. We invite you to be a happy giver to Prairie UU. While we cannot pass the plate, in person we do need your continued support as we continue to build our beloved community. You can make an offering in a variety of ways, online, via your phone, or even through the good old post office. I would like to thank you for offering to our community. We know it is generously given and gratefully received.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
We welcome you today and every day to join us in our beloved community. We hope that you hear the call to become a member of our community, that you reach out to us to connect with us in a deeper and more meaningful way. Becoming a member of Prairie UU is becoming a member of a sacred bond where we commit to live together for the benefit of the interdependent world of which we are all a part. We love our community here at Prairie U, and we welcome you to it. This is a place of acceptance and commitment, a sacred and spiritual home that opens itself up to you. You and yours are welcome here. If you are called to be a member of our community and have not already done so, we invite you to become a covenantal member or a virtual member. Virtual members can participate in our community from anywhere in the world. We simply ask you to contact a member of our membership committee. You can do that at membership@prairieu.org or go to our website at prairieu.org/welcome and complete our guest registry and check the box that says, I want to know more about membership. We will be happy to engage this journey with you and welcome you into our beloved community. We hope that you will join us, that you will feel the call and the commitment to join us in community. Every day, we are available to you and welcome you into Prairie UU.
Well, it looks like we've all made it to our Zoom meeting. Cheers, ladies. I'm turning the meeting over to Jan, our chairperson of the auction committee. Take it away, Jan.
Hello, folks. The auction website is all up and set and running. We've had great success with getting some auction emails out and in the newsletter. And we have some great donations already, but we don't have a lot of bidders. Does anybody have any ideas about what would help with getting some more bidders?
Well, why don't we all check and see if we're registered?
I thought I was registered on the website, but it says I'm not.
I've tried to register, Jan, but it won't let me.
Man.
Well, I registered last year. Maybe that isn't enough. I should try again.
I think I'm registered, but when I look, it just doesn't go through. It says it wants a code that was sent to my email. But Jan, there's never anything there.
Okay, I guess now we have a clue as to why maybe no one is bidding. Either you ladies are just hopeless, or we might have some bugs in the system. Let's see if we can fix our problems first, and maybe that will help us figure out what's wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna send you new access codes. Let's try that.
All right.
Okay, I got mine. Thank you.
Did that help with some registration? Okay, wonderful. I think everything is working now.
Well, if this group of church ladies can figure it out, then anybody can.
Wonderful. All right, so now come on, folks. We know an online auction is a new challenge, but Prairie can do it. Let's show how we can all pull together and make this one not just the greatest online auction, but the greatest auction that Prairie has had. send your donation to auction@prairieuu.org, and let's start bidding on the Prelude events while there's still time. Let's have a party together apart.
Together.
And I must say, it's a whole lot easier to bid on the auction than it was to make this video. Cheers.
Cheers.
As we prepare to leave this sacred space, may we remember that our service does not end here, but continues to live in our hearts as we go forward with these words from Mark L. Bellatini. Go in peace. Live simply, gently, at home in yourselves.
Act justly, speak justly.
Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness.
Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance.
Speak the truth or speak not.
Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift.
Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go with the dream of that peace alive in your heart. Amen. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Blessed be.
This concludes the public streaming portion of our service. At this time, however, you can share with the congregation what water symbolizes to you, or if you have a brief reflection on the service. I will call on you when I see a hand raised, and if I could get some help with identifying people in the chat as well. This will be followed by Candles of Community, which is a tradition for us.